Okay. All right. Ready to get rocking. So we are back in the USA back from Mexico, fresh back. God, what a trip. Leadership was down in Cabo, and we had a blast. I think I'm going to share some pictures with you. As a matter of fact, you can go to Ampix, AMPPIX.com, and see all the pictures. We had a blast, and we'll chat more about that. But we came back to the snow and ice in most places across the country, I think, except for my buddies in California, I guess. Everybody else, I think Florida even got 2 or 3 inches, didn't he? No, yeah. I did hear it was cold. They were saying, "Oh God, it's cold." I was like, "What is it, 60?" You know, and they were. We are fired up. The Alliance right now has their mind right, okay? And what we're doing right now, we're on a campaign looking for one more person. Now, the thing you got to understand is there's about 600 of us looking for one more person. So we're going for double, okay? So we've got quite a few great people that are part of the Alliance, and we're all looking to double. So if all 600 or 500 or 600 get one, fantastic. But one thing I want to tell you is if you matter, when you take action, you change the world. And I don't know, not everybody follows the Atlantic Coast Conference and the ACC. But I just, as much as I didn't like this guy who died. He's dead. I miss him. Like I'm Dean Smith. Y'all know who he is. And I'm going like, that Joker was awesome, you know. And in the ACC, it messed me up so bad I don't even know what. Here's what I want to tell you. I don't know, like my mama says this, she might disown me for caring about this dude. But this guy, he's a legend. And, got this whole basketball stadium called the Dean Dome. And 10,000 people showed up for his funeral. Is that mess? And they aired it on television, and I had to be hundreds of thousands of people watching it. And, one of the greats, Billy Cunningham, I remember my dad talking about him, said that Dean Smith told him over and over again that one person makes a difference. That one person can make a difference. And that's what the Alliance is looking for. We're looking for that one person. And I think I know a lot of those one-person people are already throughout the United States of America. And we're calling you out. We're saying, you matter, you make a difference. But that's your decision to make, and we're asking you to make it. And it fired me up, knowing that he's out there saying that you make a difference. And and here's what I'm like, the older I get, the more I see this. It's good news and bad news. There's people involved in everything. They don't make machines now to make us money. Like, you can't buy a machine that prints you money. It's people. People have to be involved. And the people that I see that are extremely successful, they're able to get each person to make a difference. They interact. They're emotional. They're connected to people. And if I start talking about somebody else, I really get messed up. But they connect with people, okay? So our job, what we're looking to do, the leadership is looking to do, is connect with the right people, pull a network of the right kind of people into our program. What is that right kind of people? You matter is this. Do you care about your fellow man? You know, when I look at Paul Roberts and I know how hard he works and what he goes after, it's because he wants to make a difference. In the Alliance, you can be successful and you can be significant. You can lead a successful life and you can lead a significant life. And you think about this. I through my brother, through another guy, I mean, I don't even know the whole line of how I got to Alex Fitzgerald. And then I don't even remember the whole line, but he got to Paul Roberts. And when you hear his story about he changed his life, that is significance. And when you look at the organization that Paul Roberts has brought on and the rewards that come through that to Fitz and his family, that is the money success. It's both of them. He gave somebody a chance. Now we've got, we have this organization that's coming on strong. The guy's like 8 wide in class. 2 of the people have already got their license, and he's still in class. And I talked to him just briefly this morning, and he said, do you know how real that suicide stuff you were talking about is? And I was like, yeah, dude, it's not funny. You know, we laugh, but it's not funny for thousands of people. And he was like, man, I lost one of my best friends this week. And I was like, dude, and it's a young guy. And so I knew it was on purpose. I knew it was a mistake. And I was like, oh, if we could have got to this guy. And that's what he was saying is, God was trying to reach him, if we was trying to get to him. And this guy that I'm talking about, my buddy who's bringing on an organization, the guy that hired him is a military guy that served the country, survived all kinds of crazy stuff in war, didn't even get a scratch, comes back and has a brain tumor. And so now he's had multiple surgeries, and he's with us, and I mean, he's not bashful about it, but this 2 weeks ago, he's telling the whole organization how the only reason he was with us is to have something to do, because he already has enough money coming in from disability and stuff that he has coming in, has small bills, he don't have to do anything. So he's just doing this. But now all of a sudden he says, I've got a dream now. I want to impact people. And so he says, now I'm working, like as in I'm doing something. And I'm like, dude, hallelujah. Because I just can't, he's a young guy, he's going to live, he's got a long life left. And to have him just existing, so all of a sudden he goes from just existing, doing something just to do something, to he's got a mission now. He has a passion for life. And I'm like, dude, his whole life changed just like that. He's got something to fight for. And then I'm looking at what is the impact. As he brings on my other buddy now, what kind of impact can this guy have in his world? Is that making, can I get an amen? I'm in the right neighborhood. It's Joe Dukes through, a friend of a friend of a friend. I end up hiring Alex Abian. He comes on board, and through I don't know how many people, Patrick Connors, and I even think about Patrick Connors' life with all his kids, with his huge family. You can't have like a normal job. The vacation time to get off for children, to afford a car or a bus, as he puts it, for that many young'uns, I'm like, dude. But then, through him, Joe Dukes. And I say through him, through Joe Dukes, and I'm going like, that could be Mike Leventovich. It's through Abian, I know that. He's like, Andy, you don't know who I have no idea. I try to remember who's with who, but what I'm seeing is a life, a person, Joe Dukes, Joe and Tina. And to see Joe and Tina in Cabo San Lucas laughing, and their life that they got, that Tina really gives Tim Goad, NAA, the Alliance, and Paul Roberts a lot of credit for just changing her life. And if you hadn't heard, I'm not going to tell her story, but it's a absolute life-changing story. She got her life back. That's huge. And it's funny because people always like, man, tell my guy about the money. I go, okay. We got leads, and you can go write business, and then you can hire people and all over the country, and you get an override, and it just keeps building the network and get a percentage. You make millions of dollars. Is that good enough? Does that mean that's the money? It's not hard. The hard thing, that's what I say, hard thing is people. You women like people, and people say, well, what can be hard about people? I go, you ever dealt with any of them? You know? I mean, you just want to pull your hair out sometimes. You're like, geez, what do you want me to do for? I can't explain it. And you know, here's the thing that I'm completely aware of, that people think, I'm not going to look at y'all, people think that about me too. They're going like, you know, as in, I'll make them want to pull their hair out. And I'm like, dude, chill. I'm just a people. So the bad thing is the people. The good thing is the people. You do make a difference in the Alliance and your organization. We looked up while I was doing conference calls, or while I was doing recruiting calls and getting people started this week, Chris Hill started pulling up on the internet, because I asked him, I said, how often do people killing themselves right now? And I mean, I wouldn't just, is it that, because I always thought it was Sunday nights and Monday mornings. And actually, Wednesday has overtook Sunday and Monday for the day that people commit suicide. And I was like, what the heck? So you were reading about it, and it said that just the stress of coming in on Monday and Tuesday and Wednesday, they go, I can't take it no more. And I'm like, they only got like 2 more days to Friday night. You know, but it's like they've reached that, I guess that's, I mean, when they all call that the hump day or whatever, it really is. And I'm like, do people really do that? Jay Turner is telling the story real often right now. And Jay, I would encourage you to keep telling it. He is a full-time fireman. And they got a suicide call. They go out on those, and he said they busted in the door or whatever. They got inside the house, and they heard a chair just slam down, like if I slam the chair down, you know what it's in your head. You know what it sounds like. You've got away from the dinner table too quick, or a kid's kicked one over. You know what it sounds like. They heard it upstairs. They run upstairs, and the guy's hanging. So they lift him up and save him, and he actually lives, and he's lost his job. He lost his dream. He lost his income. He didn't think he could find another one. And same thing with my buddy. Lost his friend. He said $200,000 job. He lost it, and he started spiraling one thing and another. It just started piling up on him. We have a place that people can be made to feel special, which is a big reason I love our hot spots. They are a place that people can come. And it's a place of refuge. It's a warm place. It's a place to hang around. You say, well, that's where we train people to sell. Yes, we do. We do train them to sell. We're going to tell you everything we can about selling, about building, about business, about taxes, about hiring staff. We're going to try to tell you everything. But it's like, you know, it's a million things we've got to say. But the biggest thing it's a place that people can hang out. And that's what our hot spots are becoming more and more. So you got the stress of, here's the other thing, is relationships. People are stressed in relationships. Some people don't think that nobody notices them. Nobody knows who they are. Nobody cares. That's huge in our hot spots. We had a meeting, I did a conference call yesterday. We're talking about blowing up Atlanta. I mean, we think there's enough leaders coming in there. There's a little over 4 million people in a metro area. And so we're going, there could easily be 4 meetings in Atlanta. And people ask me, how do you start another meeting? Well, you show up every week. So you show up pick a day. By the way, you're starting it, you get to pick the day. So you show up. I like Panera Bread, will be a good place to do it. Some people say the conference room not the conference room, but the lobby area of a hotel. A lot of hotels will do it. They don't care. You're just sitting out there in the lobby, you start chit-chatting. Bring 2, 3 people, 5 people. The all access that we pay in covers the hotels once you get a certain number. And we're not like trying to be crazy opening up meetings. Right now, the Atlanta don't need another meeting because we only have 25 or 30 people going, but instantly it could be 200 people. Or we could start another meeting an hour out or 45 minutes out if somebody lived there and they wanted to take responsibility. So what you do is you start showing up every week, and then you get another person to show up with you every week, and then you get another person to show up with you every week, and then if all three of you got one more person next week, you're going to blow up to 6. And people go like, it don't happen like that, Andy. I go, well, it has very, very often. It's just a matter of, and people say, is it depending on what the city is or the weather is or the type of people? Yes, one person is what makes a difference. You matter. It can be you. And some of our meetings, people say that they're not as exciting as other meetings. This works like when you hire people, you hire 13 people. Oh, we got our amp picks pulled up. Go ahead and get on the champion, the Ring of Champions. All right, so here's the way it works. If you hadn't seen this before, if you hire 6 or 7 people, if I said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, if I had these 3 people in the front row and these 3 people stand up, and I said, all right, which one of these do y'all think can do math the best? It wouldn't shock you that one of you is superior to the others. I tell everybody, don't watch TV, don't watch TV. And then I think, well, I saw something on TV I'll tell you about. And I'm thinking, I can't say that because I'm telling people not to watch TV. But we, at dinner times, a lot of times we sit at the table and talk, and sometimes we'll be like, yeah, we're going in there, which is in there is where the TV's on, right? So we go in there one day this week, and in our that's my English, right? We go in there in the living room, and it's a kid baking contest. Not the adult cooking, because I'm like taking notes on the adults. I'm like, that's good stuff right there. But they were talking about consistency, and they tell you as a chef that your cupcakes want to be consistent, or your little crescent rolls want to be consistent. And the little girl was 11 years old, I think 11 years old, and the guy said, don't cry, don't be mad at me, but I'm going to do something that one of my teachers taught me. And he took her smallest little crescent roll thing and her largest, and it looked retarded. I mean, just it looked messed up. You know what I mean? But you can't help it when you line up people, when you line up donuts, people are different. And whether it be, I could do racing. I go, all right, we're going to race to my office and see who gets up there the fastest. So one of the biggest things you want to do is when you're hiring people is you want to hire them all and not try to judge them. You don't know who's got persistency. You don't know who's got drive. You don't know who's got enthusiasm. You treat them all nice, but then you watch. Okay? And so what you're doing is you're not superior, but you hired them. I could draw it out where you hired them upwards. You hired this one like that right there. You could do it however you want to do it, but the point is you look, you observe. Don't be blind to the fact that this person right here is doing what this person's supposed to be doing. You with me? They come to the meeting. And so the more you hire, the more likely you're going to find somebody that's squared away. What I mean squared away? Their finances are caught up. They know how to speak well in front of an audience, not like a dynamic speaker, but they're not going to get up there and cuss people out. They're not going to talk down to people. They're just normal talker people. So you're going to find people that their marriage is not a disaster. They're going to find people that don't hate their parents. They don't have kids that need to be locked up. They're going to find stuff like that. You're going to find people like that. But what you got to understand is you can't judge. Especially, I say you can't judge, and then I'm going to say judge. Meaning, you hire them all, and you give them time, and then you work with the people that are the easiest to work with. So, our hot spots. If you drew our hot spots, we got one in Atlanta, we got 2, 3, and we got one in Oregon, we got one in Las Vegas, we got one in Phoenix. What's going to happen is when you look down at them or you attended every one of them, you would say this one's more exciting, this one's more vibrant, this one's growing better. You can't help that. There's always going to be that variance, okay? But this, you can help. You walk into a room, you matter. Your enthusiasm or your negativity comes into the room. And people go like, my meeting's bad. I go, yeah. That's like saying a cupcake is terrible, but all the ingredients are perfect. It's the ingredients that make up the cupcake that make it bad or good. Hello? Can I get a hello? Are we there? You know? Okay, so when I run a meeting, whatever meeting that I go to, let's say I'm going to be standing in front of this audience, I explain to the audience, like if I would say to Veronica and Lucy, I would say, Lucy, all right, I need an amen and I need a hallelujah. Can y'all, when we come to the meeting tonight, I need everybody rocking like this and smiling and moving their hands like this. And then I have other speakers, they say, well, in my meetings, they're not as exciting as your meetings. And I go, I tell them how to look excited, right? Like I'm coaching them, I'm telling them ahead of time what we're going to do. We have a game plan. So yesterday we had a conference call with the Atlanta people, and I said, I want every one of you to walk in with a game plan. Now here's the way it works. You walk in and you high-five people. You go, hey, Rebecca, what's going on? Lexi, what's happening? And when you see people, don't go like this. I mean, that doesn't exude any excitement. So I asked them, I said, if I was in the audience, so I'm sitting here in the audience and there's a speaker, and what do y'all think? Have you been with me setting at a seminar? We're going to leadership next week, John Gordon's doing, and a couple other famous guys that are speakers and writers, and I promise you, I will be one in the audience going, that's right. Amen. Ain't that the truth? That's the what I'm talking about right there. How many of you think if you go to a meeting, if we said, here is the excitement level we need, every person that's below that pulls down the average, every person above that pulls up the average. And so my question to the group at Atlanta, and I had Stephen Davies, Diane Lampy, Michael Owens, all on the call, and I said, if I walked into it, and I'm the guy setting out there, is the meeting more exciting because Albright is up in the house? And Stephen Davies shot me a text. He is so funny. If this meeting, if Stephen Davies was here, would it be funnier? And he answers, absolutely, right? He sends me a text and he says, Andy Albright versus Buzz Killjoy III. I'm like, when you step into a meeting, do you go in there going like, this is going to be a positive, upbeating, exciting meeting? Or do you go, I'm going to go in and check the temperature and I'm going to go the direction the meeting goes? Which is it? Because see, that go the direction of the meeting go is not a good strategy. It's you be the deal. You be the story. You be the high fiver. You come in. When you see the leadership get announced on stage, y'all see how we all bumping and high fiving? That's the way we are all the time. Let me give you a tip. We didn't start high fiving and then, we didn't get to be leaders, be financially independent, making hundreds of thousands, millions of dollars, and then say, man, we need to high five. Man, that's what we ought to do. We ought to get excited. No, we got there because when Michael Owens walks in the room, when Diane Lampy walks in the room, there she go. You with me? So when you walk in the room, that's what it needs. People are looking for that place. Let's give them what they're looking for. Y'all ever heard that? Give them a show? That's what hey, matter of fact, I call him Roy Smith because I don't know his name, but it's Dean Smith's next guy that coaches that Carolina team. And last night there was a crazy game in the Dean Dome, and the coach of the Carolina team told the fans, the whole Coliseum people, he said, don't come there to be entertained, come and be part of the show. And they were. The whole game, they were going crazy. Okay? And I was like, he's chief reminder officer too. You don't have to tell Albright when he comes to a ball game to be a participant. I'm the one standing there. James and Jane, y'all been enough of me to know I'm crazy. Like, I'm wanting to go down there. I'm screaming, like, get your butt. I'm hollering rules and stuff. And Chris, one of the reasons I love Chris Revis, he runs all of our marketing and a lot of the operations. And he was talking about, this guy, Roy, didn't call a timeout. And he said he was running down the steps going, call timeout, call timeout, call timeout. And because in his opinion, the coach needed to call a timeout. And I'm telling you, the coach I agree. And I think all the Monday morning quarterbacks, are looking back going, he should have called a timeout. But Revis, I call him Crevice because his email is Crevis. So Crevis, he was telling him, do your job. And I was like, that's the kind of action I want out of you right there. You know what I mean? Like, if something's wrong, fix it. And people want to talk about it next day. Talking about, you know what I ought to have done? Nothing. I know what you'd have done. You know what I mean? It's what do you, I wish I'd have said, I thought I'd have said. This is the alliance right now. We want you matter because we want you to help. I usually tap people on the head and I go, you've been anointed, you've been deemed, you've been authorized, deputized. How many times I got to do it to get the whole nation to understand? Y'all are authorized to own the meeting. You are, you're the meeting. So here's what we're talking about too on the Atlanta meeting is when you hear something, this be you right here with the big ears, okay? When you hear something, you don't need to be, how did we do this? You don't need to be like a black hole, okay? It don't need to just go in you. Your job when you hear something, it goes in your ears, you are supposed to re-communicate it out to other people. So I know we talked a lot about this in Cabo. Your job is to re-communicate that. So I'm saying there's, I don't know, maybe 1,000 people watching. You can tell people as you hire them. If you've ever, Bradley, I've told you, you're part of the show. You're hired by me. You hired at my ABTF. Cassie hired you. It was Cassie knew you. So Cassie, part of our ABTF, called one of her friends and said, you need to join the alliance. So Bradley joined. Immediately I'm going, bro, you're part of the show. You're part of the show. For you to make a lot of money, I'm reminding you to remind people. I'm the chief reminder officers. And I hated this in the cotton mill, Veronica. You remember this? What you would do is the people would line up the cans of cotton, and then you'd have a checker come by and they go like, yep. So then what we got is, we got a guy that would check the checker. I'm going to check the checker. And then we had a guy that checked the checkers. I was like, you guys are nuts. I'm telling you, I was like, no wonder the Japanese are beating us in textiles, Bo. We crazy. We got more people paying for check. We paying to check the stuff. Okay, so that's bad redundant. Okay? Because we're paying, it's just crazy. But redundant in everybody reminding everybody is not, it's not a problem. Does that make sense? Like, it's not a problem. Like on a football field, if we're going like, hey, watch the fake punt. Okay, or say like other teams lined up to punt. And one person goes, hey, watch the fake punt. It's okay for another person to say it too. Does that make sense? It's not a rule that only one person can be the reminder person. You guys are now and forever, henceforth, therefore, and to be forever, reminder people. Is that okay? So you tell your people, hello, we are part of the deal. So now I get back, I send out to Michael Owens about the conference call about Atlanta. He says, not only did I get it, I sent it to other people too. I was like, that's my boy right there. That's my boy. But see, so I'm reminding you to remind people. And I'm looking at this Roy guy that coaches Carolina. He reminded the audience to participate. And then they did. Now, my question is he going to have to remind them next game too? My guess is, yep, because they're not too smart kids there at Carolina. Okay, so in our meetings, here's what we do. So then now here's another thing. People don't know. People say, well, they don't know what excitement looks like, Andy, and they don't know how to run a meeting. I go, hello, hey, hello. We wrote a book about it. Okay, and inside here on page, there's several different editions. This is 3rd edition on page 169, so it's going to be dang close to 169. It says mistakes to avoid at a meeting. And I'm going like, this. I'm going to remind you that you could remind people about this page right here. So the first one says, be early, not late. Have we got that? I mean, look, here's what I like about me. I put a whole dadgum page about how to be early and not late. I'm going like, he didn't just say be early, because you can't write a book with just having a simple line like be early, be late. Now, I always tell people, be simple. And I go like, you ding-dong head, how do you? Oh, my, you ain't going to believe this. Basketball players at the University of North Carolina at Chapel Hill often talk about Dean Smith time. I did not remember that was in there. Smith, see, I'll start crying again. Smith, the legendary Tar Heel coach who won 2 NCAA titles before retiring after 1997-98, was famous for saying, if you're on time, then you're a few minutes late. If you're on time, you're a few minutes late. What Smith meant by that, he knew that part of being prepared for games, practices, meeting, class, was being early instead of being on time. To this day, Phil Ford, an All-American point guard at UNC, sets his wristwatch and cell phone 15 minutes fast, so he's never on time. He calls it being DES, Dean E. Smith time. This is a guy who hasn't played for his old coach since the 70s. And he's not forgotten that one simple lesson. So Dean made a difference in him. Dean reminded it, but I call it, he beat it to death. So with me, I've beat myself to death on little things. And I know I mess up stuff all the time. Hello. But I've beat myself on little things that I try to do. Okay? And there are some things that are massive to me, being like my family and my family's financial future. And for that, I know that the hot spots, our meetings around the country, are a huge part of our blood. It's massive important to us that we get to keep these things healthy. And the way we do that, we start out by being on time. We dress for success. This should be obvious. 100% professional all the time. No flip-flops, no T-shirts, no jeans. NA is a business. It's be sharp. Hello? People looking for a place to make money, not to be a bunch of bums. So there's a place we call it Mama's across the street over here, and what's the name of that place? Sam's. If y'all ever hear Burlington, go to Sam's. We call it Mama's, but go to Sam's, men's wholesale. And I love all the clothes in there, and it's like not my style. But I love them on some other guys. I'm like, dude, I got some of my men. They look great in that. It's just not my. But they're sharp looking clothes. It's anyway. You got to go see it to see what I'm saying. They're crazy. It's just crazy stuff that's not my style, but it looks great. Now see, that creates variety. If we have different people with different styles, different, you call it as ethnicities, different people from different countries, people from different cultures, and they dress, but they wear their best of what their style is. And you're going like, that one's decked out, that one's decked out. It makes an impression on people when they walk in and they see crispy. So that's one of the things that are simple. Leave your problems at the door. We don't just, hello? And this stuff is in here. I've been telling people boldly that this book right here, you read this is a 6-figure income. There's no way you cannot make 6 figures with us doing the stuff in this book. And I haven't taught these 8 steps like verbally. I'm getting ready to start a series, going to start doing it again. But this will do it. This is millionaire stuff. This is $80,000 a month stuff. The problem is, or the challenge is, there's a lot of stuff in here. So what we've got to do is hear it. You have to repeat it and tell people and coach them and say, hey, man, Bubba, look at here. Leave problems at the door. People come in there whining about what? What happened to the dog? Guess what happened to my dog? I'm like, bro, easy. Everybody, we know. It's not that we don't care about your dog. We just don't want to hear about it right now. You know, it's like post it on Facebook or something. I don't know. You know what I mean? You know, then somebody go, you know, make a comment or something. You feel loved like that. But come in with a great attitude. Come in like this right here. And people say, things happen, Andy. I'm going to be sad. Bruh, faith it. I'm saying faith. I have faith. Faith it. Not fake it. Faith it. People say fake it. No, faith it. Fake it is when you and you know it's not going to happen. Faith is when you're doing this because you know that soon you're going to have a reason to smile. And the biggest reason I'm going to have a smile is because you smile when you come in a room. And the biggest thing you're smiling is to help other people. It's not like lolly-la either. It's like, dude, we got a chance. How about this? Would you be happier if I gave you 10 lottery tickets to $1 million lottery or $300 million? I'd be happier. They scratch them off. I'd be like, ain't want nothing. But it's a shot. What if I gave you a shot at making $500,000? That's what the alliance is. Could we think about the shot that you've just been given when you walk through that door as opposed to something bad that happened? And don't mess up everybody else's shot. People ask me, say, this guy's fired up about prepaid legal. How do I tell him that's terrible and this is good? I'm like, don't. Joker's got a shot. Let him have his shot. He don't like it and he ain't making no money, gets quits or says, I'm looking for something else. Talk to him about it. But if a guy in the middle of a shot, guy's in the middle of doing something, don't mess with him. Leave him alone. I don't know how to talk somebody out of going after their dream. We're looking for people that are looking for a shot. Now, if you were looking for a shot and now you got a shot, you're the ones that need to be jacked up, fired up, and happy about it. You need to be talking junk about that. Because that's the only way we're going to get that shot to come true is to start smiling. So we were beating it up. We were saying things like, if you could just go, that's right. Another thing is, Vion, come here a second. How about this one too? If you're standing beside people, here's another thing. There's so many little things, Lil Con, James Hill, that I would say watch for stuff that I'm doing, but just when I grab her up here, I'm pulling her up here. I've already shook hands with her, I high-fived her, but just do it again. It's just a little thing, but it makes it makes y'all warmer, it makes me and her warmer together, it creates stuff. So that's one of the things you want to do is touch. You want to, and then you're like, really good to see you. So we already shook hands. Then it's really good to see you both. And it's just James. It was Paul Menachino, your guy that's killing it with you. Your upline, right? Yeah. And so he was like, dude, he flew around. He's like, dude, do you have any idea how many times you pat people on the back? I was like, a bunch. He's like, does that help? I said, I'm making a lot of money, ain't I? Do you like it? And I reached there. I was like, you like it? You're doing a good job. I like to do it in restaurants with waiters. I'll be like, bro, come here. You're doing a fantastic job. Just like anybody pat you on the back. Hey, it's been 2 or 3 years. I'll be like, there you go. Come on, let's do it again. Good job. You're doing a good job. And it just fires them up. So when you come in a room, we're doing this high five. One of my heroes, a guy named Paul Miller, he used to talk about, he said, you need to be the puppy dog when your upline comes in and when anybody comes in. And what's the puppy dog do? He got a tail wag going on. He's doing it right there. Well, we say it's a sad dog don't wag his own tail, right? And so every time I would see Veronica is the one that hired me in that other network strategy thing that I was involved. When I ever seen Veronica and her husband, I would be like, what's up? Right? Yes, you do. Every time. Because I remember that I said, puppy dog, here we go. I try not to pee on myself, you know what I mean? That'll mess it up. You don't want to be that much of a puppy dog, but you want to be glad to see him. It's like, Veronica, what's happening? We can kill this thing's going to be big. And as a matter of fact, I had one of my coach guys, he said, you need to quit saying it's going to be big because it'll never get big. And I was like, well, it's worked out pretty good so far. Because you always say, it is big. It's just big. It is big because you already spoke it as if it already is. But I've been doing it for 20-some years going like, this thing's going to be big. Oh, it's going to be big. You remember saying that? Yes. Ooh, this thing's going to be big. And the more people that think it's going to be big, the more people go, woo, right? And Jay Turner said the other day, he said, this thing is going to blow up like Mount Fuji. And it's now, and so now it's picking up. It's picking momentum. So you say, listen to this, the same things. So here's what we do. We go, wolf, you say pack, wolf, pack, wolf, pack. And then some people be sitting there like, do you not know the words? Two words, pick one. It's like you wish you had the green book with you at the game so you could go wham right upside their head. So they're tired of hearing me talk right now. Vion, would you tell them who you are? Slide over this way, and tell them who you are. Stay right with me, B. Tell them who you are, who you hired by, family, and what's going on. Well, just start with that, kind of who you are in the organization. Okay.
My name is Vion Exline. I was hired by Paul and Sam Minikino, part of the Hill organization. My home hotspot is Winchester, Virginia. And what's next? I want to make sure I cover them all.
Tell them about Scott and the young'un and stuff like that.
Sure. Man, I've got my husband, Scott. He's in the military, and he has a full-time job. He's working right now, and I have a 13-year-old daughter named Ava. And they help me when they can, but they always support me. And when I told them I was coming down here, they're like, "Oh, go do that." So that's awesome. That means the world.
Yeah. What branch of the military is? He's in the reserves, or
yeah,
he's in the reserves.
He did 6 years active duty and
Army. 6 years Army.
He did Army National Guard.
Now were y'all married while he was in the Army?
No, we've been married. Yeah, 7 years. He's a little bit older than me.
Okay. Rub it in.
Just a little.
And so what's his job? What does he do? You told me yesterday.
He works in a prison full-time where I used to work.
Okay, I knew you did, and so
Right.
that's where he works. So what does he do there? What's
He's
he in charge
a
of?
correctional officer.
What does that mean? You correct the criminal? Is that what I mean?
Well, there's no correcting. I'm just babysitting, really. True story.
What does he do? So, I mean, is that what he does? Is he just looks after him?
Yeah. Make sure they're not, using drugs, trying to climb the fence.
My baby lips on I was telling my wife, I said, the girls are laughing at me because I had baby lips, and I stole it from Jane. But I really like it. Thank you. So this is Cabo. Don't be laughing at me. It's a Cabo burn from Cabo San Lucas. You wish you had one.
Yeah, true story.
So tell them how did you get involved with the business? How did you get recruited? And
I got a license because I worked at a prison and I wanted out. And I worked with a different insurance company and it didn't work for me. So then I went, stayed in prison. And I did. I stayed in prison.
It's pretty bad when the company that you're working with is worse than prison.
Yeah, it was. It was worse than prison. No leads.
I would use that, by the way. I would say, yeah, it was worse than prison, so I stayed at prison.
Well, they handed me the phone book and told me to go knock on doors, and
that was their lead strategy?
Yeah, it was not a good program. So
You just didn't knock on enough doors.
That wasn't for me. I'm trying to pick up the phone. So,
yeah.
So yeah,
you lift the sound. Is it coming through? Just keep it up a little bit higher. I want to tell y'all stuff. Like, do y'all see me? People say never correct people in front of anybody, and I go like, that's true. Don't. And then I do it all the time. But I do it all the time, and I never get a frown. I never get anything out of it. I'm not going, you're doing it wrong. I think that's what it is. I go like, hey, just push it up just a little bit. It comes through a lot clearer. And the other thing is when you're around people that have been around me, in other words, with people that I coach, so what do we go back to? First of all, you are responsible of helping this person do better. You matter, okay? And you're hiring people. I know you are. Everybody out there in our organization is recruiting and building now. It's like 100% or dang close to it. And so you matter. You talk to this person, and things you've learned, you point out. And then what you do is you get them right on a lot of little things. Then later on, they do better. You see, the way this works is this person does better, you do better. So I'm never in I know more than you. It's just I've been here before. I know where the restrooms are. I know where the good chicken wings are at the NC State game. I go, come on, I'll show you where the chicken. Nobody knows about this. And I people go, okay, let's go. They don't Don't be telling us where to eat, because I'm not telling them where to eat. I'm telling them where the good chicken wings are. And I mean, who don't want a good chicken wing? I mean, that don't make no sense. Ain't nobody got time for that. So prison. And now, do you work at the prison anymore?
Nope.
And when did you stop that?
June of last year.
Now, did you find Paul Menachino, or did you find somebody else?
I knew someone that didn't stick around that knew Paul, and she said you should try this insurance thing. And I said,
let me get this straight.
Yeah, I know.
You went to a person who had quit. Us.
I went to his mother. Yeah.
Okay, we got to draw this out.
I know, it's a mess. It really is.
So there was Paul Menachino, and he hired somebody.
James hired somebody who hired Paul.
James Hill.
Yeah.
Hired somebody who hired Paul.
Yes.
So this person right here.
Yep.
Okay. So James, you didn't hire Paul Menachino directly? No. So is this person still around? No, they're not around anymore. So they had quit, but this person had a mother.
Yes.
And so you went and talked to the mother?
I knew the mom. She knew I had a license. She said, you should do this.
So the mom, who had a kid that didn't make it with us, told you that you should do it.
Yeah.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Does that make, like, people say things to me like, this person told me it won't work, this person, beat our business up. Somebody was telling me, you telling me this, like, this girl, everybody tried to beat her down. I'm going like, what the heck kind of people do that? I mean, what kind of mean people? And so she's going like, who was it? I think about it real quick. His son, I know what. His son, it's Bob Grannon, who's one of the executives with Transamerica. He tells a story about his son, and his son didn't do some business, or might have, I don't know if it was us or whatever it was. His son said, he talked to his friend, and his friend said no. And so Bob says to his son, he's like, son, was there a co-captain on your football team? And the son goes like, no, Dad, I was the captain. He said, why did they make you the captain and not this other person? I want to say genius, but you know what I mean? He's going like, the part where they didn't make him captain, the part where they made you captain, is the part where you should know that you should make better decisions than him. Don't be asking him nothing. And I was like, there's a brilliant tip. So the mama says you should try it. So then you call Menachino?
Yeah, not the first time.
Did you call somebody else first time?
Well, the first time I said, I'm not doing that.
Oh, you said no the first time.
Well, yeah, I thought I was going to get another phone book.
Because you had enough of the phone book.
Yeah, I wasn't doing that. And
did you dial numbers in the phone book, or did you go door to door knocking?
Yeah, both. You had to do both.
You get both of them.
Yeah.
They had a both of them like we had.
Yeah.
We're gonna go door to door, call from the phone book. Both of them.
Yeah, they did. It was terrible.
So you thought that everybody.
Yeah.
Okay, so my deal, when I think about that, I think about Tom Sawyer, who had a cat that sat on the oven, and he never sat on the oven again. Because it was on.
Yeah. Yeah.
So he never did it again. That's kind of like you. You weren't going to do it again because
Nope.
you done been burned. You ain't going to get burned again.
Right.
So did she convince you, or how did it happen? How did it?
So my husband had a different job at the time outside the military, contract. The contract was renewed minus 40% of his pay.
Oh, pay cut.
Just gone. Yeah.
Bam. So you got a negative pay cut for hubby.
Yeah.
Right? And so then you was like, you changed to a maybe.
Yeah. Pretty much.
Well, maybe I will.
Yeah.
All right.
So I dusted off my license, and I called her up, and I was like, who am I supposed to call?
Who am I supposed to call?
And she called her son, she called me back and said, call Paul Menachino. And
so she called her son,
Yeah.
and her son told her who to call,
Yeah.
told you, and did like that.
Yeah.
My boy right here could be rocking. He could have two smoking legs, Paul Menachino and Vion X-Line. Am I saying your name right?
You are.
Vion X-Line. You got Vion X-Line and Paul Menachino. Look at the cool names he would have in his business. You know what I mean? Just not just people, but he'd have X-Line and Menachino. And have y'all seen him sing? Has everybody seen the video of him singing it hadn't went out, has it? It did get emailed out today. So y'all need to check your email for the summary wrap up video, and it's her upline singing and us singing on the beach, and it does the whole thing. It's really cool.
Awesome.
And all these talented people could be in no names business, but we're not gonna name them.
Nope.
And so we've got this thing called FIE, Financial Independence Engine, and I was telling Vion that hers and her husband's was one of the smartest and best I'd ever seen in my life. And I was thinking, so Paul, right here, Paul recruited, or how about this? Paul did not quit. How do you get Vion? He didn't quit.
Right.
Because if he'd have quit and she'd have called him, it'd have not worked out.
Right.
Because he'd have been quit.
Yeah.
And then hopefully he would have said, James, right? Who knows? But the way it worked out, my man didn't quit. That's how he recruited her. And he recruited somebody with good financial common sense. I mean, what I mean by just good. I mean, the only thing that I told her that we really, really need to work on, and our financial independence sheet, is that a NAA university?
Yes.
It is one of the university ones?
Yeah.
So typically what you do is, this is like job income, which is the prison and your production, okay?
Right.
So, and then here's your expenses, and most people live where this number, Veronica, they're about equal. Have I ever showed you this yet, Veronica? I got so much to show you. I mean, so many things that we have, tools we have. By the way, here's another thing I'm going to authorize y'all to do. All of you are authorized to do all of the NAA University stuff. Like, you don't have to play this business dumb. You can play this business smarter. You're allowed to become fanatical about this business. You can be the life of the hotspot. You're authorized, and you're authorized. Y'all getting a lot of authorization. Y'all feel like this is like been a good meeting. You know, I'm like, did you know what all we got dinged?
Amen.
That's what I'm talking about. Lucy, what I'm talking. Whoa! Yeah, baby, yeah, that's what I'm talking about. And see, we got this lady that we love. Do we know her name? We don't learn her name. We like her so much. Which one? Back the truck up.
Which one?
T. Name's T. We love T. What's happening? I hope she's watching. We love her. Why? She's the life of the party. She'll be sitting there writing, and she'll hit that thing, and she'll say a word we ain't supposed to say, but you could go to heaven, or she'll say, hellfire, like that. I'd be like, that's right, T. You just did it. You just jumped up and said amen. You authorized. You can do that. This is some crazy stuff. So one of our things is a FIE, and it's a financial independence engine, and it's you got your assets up here, which is cash in the bank, and it's people think they're going to retire on this, and we laugh about that because it just don't happen because you can't create residual. And over here is what we focus on. This is the residual income. This is when you hire other people. And so this looked great for her. This looked great. This is debt. This debt looked great. And then this is business expenses. And she kept her business expenses great. I was like, you got one thing to focus on. Now the key is but see, don't miss my point. He got that person. People go, I got this person. And they're in a world of financial hurt. They can't afford leads. They can't afford this. They can't afford that. Well, here's the way it looks. You got a bunch of people. You're talking about the best one being over here. You're explaining to me this one over here. And I'm going, buddy. So now here's the other thing. If you only have two, it's very difficult to determine. But the more you get, it's like that little girl making the little croissant things. If she only had two, they're going to be pretty close together. You can't help it. But when you go 12 or 6, 6, 8, 6, 6, I was saying, or 20, the way I say it's 20 vision, 20, you go 20 and you do it. And by the way, if she conducts a croissant today and 3 weeks later she has another croissant, the chef can't compare them. You have to do it fast. Does that make sense? It's a timing thing. Remember my peanut butter story I used to tell 20 years ago? Peanut butter sandwiches are good when they're made quickly. But you make them over 3 weeks, it doesn't have the same effect in the taste buds. Because it dries out and the jelly gets muckier, and a lot of times it'll attract bugs. It's just all kinds of things happen over time that you can't control. But if you do it fast, boom, yow. Okay? Now you say, well, I could get lucky. I could get lucky like Paul. Yeah, don't quit. And you could. But now here's the other thing. When he didn't quit, he also, listen to this, he got good. Okay? So he got good. He went to the universities, NAA universities, and he studied the stuff, so he's teaching her good. And because of that, I don't think this will show up on the screen on the video, but I had to do it with money. He got money. Okay, he got cash coming in because he didn't quit and he got good. But now, don't get me wrong. By the way, he's also the one that hired Paul Menachino. Justin Bailey, who now has it going on like crazy. This I'm talking about Paul Menachino. Okay, so let's talk about you. That ain't gonna work. Let's talk about you. Talk to us about how you started out. Were you really good at this? Did you struggle in the beginning? Do you remember how your progress went?
I remember it like this. I was exceptional. Exceptional at being lazy. I was really good at watching TV. And,
you were a TV watcher?
Oh, yeah.
That's my buddy right here.
Yeah.
I learned a lot. You learned television? You learned that one. You were watching the wrong shows.
Yeah, I was watching, Netflix. I don't know.
Okay.
Yeah.
So you really weren't good. You didn't come after this? Because I asked you to tell when you started, and you're like, you don't want me to tell when I started
right.
because you didn't do anything.
Right.
So when you started was not day one. How long was it before you got started?
It was over a month before I even tried.
So 1 month goes by, you do nothing.
Yeah.
How much money did you make? Nothing. Because
Yeah.
see, that's like a mathematical equation. She did nothing, she get nothing.
Right.
What happened next? How long of a time? Did you start doing a little bit?
The 27th of February last year, I issued my first policy.
Okay, so you're just February 27th last year. And when did you get when did you sign paperwork with Paul?
January 31st of 2013.
Okay. So here's another thing I like. Wait a minute, 13.
So New Year's Eve.
So it was only 1 month you got your first policy issued?
2. It was 2 whole months.
Here's another thing. She thinks that's bad. I thought I was going to hear a terrible story how long it took her. But if a person gets the issue paid first month, second month, or first month, I'm thrilled. So really? Yeah. Oh yeah. What if they got issued first week? Well, I'm more thrilled. You understand what I'm saying? Like, I'm happy. Because my whole program is I want to get this one right in a little bit, this one right in a little bit, this one right in a little bit. And then I'm going like, have you hired anybody? And I'm going to help you hire a little bit. In other words, a lot of people doing a little bit, you matter. That makes a huge difference by doing that. Okay, so you got your first in a month. So February, we're in 15. So you've been with us 2 years?
A year and 2 months. It was New Year's Eve of 13, so I didn't actually get my contract through until 2014.
Okay, got you. So it was January 2014, February 2014 that you wrote your first policy.
Right.
Now, were you able to win a cruise, or you didn't do that?
I did not do that.
You didn't win the Greek cruise.
No.
If you'd have started in February, would you have been going on a Greek Isle cruise with us?
Yeah.
Oh. Okay, so if you're starting with us, try to get started faster.
Yeah.
That way you can go with us to Banff. Okay. Like if you start slower, you probably won't make it.
True.
Right? And we don't go like, you tried anyway and we give it to you. No, we don't do that.
No.
It doesn't work like that.
No.
But you're on track for Banff?
I'm going to Banff.
You're going to Banff.
Period.
Okay, so what do you do? What's a typical month now? How much do you write? How much business? Just get close.
A few thousand. Nothing impressive, really.
A few thousand, like 2,000, 3,000, 10,000. Is it closer to 10 or closer to 2?
3 to 10, just depending.
So you like 3, right now you write 3 to 10,000 a month? Mm-hmm. 3 to 10,000 a month right now. Okay. And how long, and that's an issue paid or submitted?
Issue paid.
Okay. And how long did it take you to get to that point?
Probably from the time I started working. There's times you go out and write 5,000 in a day. Mm-hmm. 1 week I did 13,000 in 4 days. So it really depends on my level of effort.
Really?
Really? Yeah.
So the amount of effort you put in reflects that.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Okay. If you could, see, here's what I like about her. It's ain't complicated stuff. Did Mike Allman just walk in the house? Mike Allman in the house!
Hey.
What's up, buddy? Come on up here, man. We can't have somebody like you sitting in the back, man. Come on to the front row. Guys, this is Michael Allman. Have you met Michael Allman?
No, I haven't. Hi,
How you
Dion.
doing?
Mike
Nice meeting you.
Allman.
You
This
too.
is Veronica Hedges.
Hey, Ron. Nice meeting you.
Okay, you see how that works, guys? When people come in the room, hey! And it just, we'll get this thing, we're going to get these hot spots are just going to be smoking like it is in here right now. Does anybody notice that? Is it smoking
Oh,
hot
it
in
is.
here?
Yep.
Okay. All right,
Yep.
stand over here, Veronica. And so $3,000 to $10,000 a month. Now, you know you need like, you're shooting for like 140,000, right? 140,000 because we want you to go to Lake Louise too. So that means we're in February now. So you got 10 months. You're going to need to pick up pace a little bit.
Right.
Do you have plans on doing that?
Menachino and I are working out plans at the moment to,
Plans to get you to?
yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
Does that involve an activity book?
An activity book. Instead of working from home.
Oh, that's right. You're doing the office thing
Yeah.
because of distractions.
Yep.
Okay. Now, here's the crazy thing, guys. Has this matched your job income?
It's far exceeded it.
So it's far exceeded your job income. People say, well, the person I got needs to make a lot more money, so they're under a lot of stress. Like, okay, dokie. She's not. You see what I'm saying? In other words, it's finding a person that fits that mold. Now, you say, well, you're not describing me. Hello? Give me about 15 minutes of not thinking about yourself. I'm going like, could you think about others? Like, see, getting your eye off of you helps you make more money. Hello? It's if you constantly look at, like every time I say something, you line yourself up to it. I'm like, dude, chill. We're looking for people that are, I always trying to find people that are in way better shape, smarter than me, speak better than me, got better finances, got a better marriage, their children behave better than my kids. I'm looking for that best person all the time. People say, I bet you're disappointed a lot. Oh, all the time. I've learned to live with it. I mean, it's just, I'm the most negative, optimistic person you've ever met in your life. I know I'm not going to find what I'm looking for, but I know what I'm looking for. I got a picture of what I'm looking for. Okay? So so that's more income. So that's part of your challenge, would you say? You're making more than your job already. Like, why are you going to try to make more?
Because I have what Robbie Kraft calls the WANTTO.
Because you got the want to. Yeah. So what is the want? Can't spell WANTTO. The want to. You've got the want to, and that's what's going to drive you to do more than you need to. And that took, so apparently that's taking place right now.
Yeah.
So a year into it before the want to starts kicking in on her.
Yeah.
So this right here, I guarantee you that Paul Menachino is going to show you how to do this. Plan your schedule. See, believe it or not, that's a whole week right there. That's Friday to Thursday. Or Sunday to Monday to Sunday. It's in there. It's Friday to Thursday. It's every day of the week's in there, and this is all the hours. So what you do during that week determines what you are.
It's true.
As tricky as that sounds. And so what you got to do, and that's what Paul's going to be working with you, I'm sure, is schedule. And the first thing is getting a place where you're not distracted.
Yeah.
And it's funny, you know you're distracted because you want to be distracted. I mean, and it sounds...
No, I was telling James Hill a little bit earlier that you talked to a lot of people about what do you want. Do you want the house, the car, the watch, the money? And I'm not a big wanter. So when you started saying, what do you hate? I was like, I'm a hater. I'm a hater. And you related in a way that it was able to trigger in me what needed to be done.
I do that. I do that.
Yeah.
That is something I've ever been able to do. You can copy me on that too. Matter of fact, I got a sheet now. It's called a WANTTO sheet. And yeah, it's going to be a brand new NA University. I've been doing it, and now I put it into a sheet and explained it, a one-pager. Y'all, by the way, and there's something else I hadn't told you is I have a thing called is it a blog or something that you sign up for? What is it? Tell her what it is, because I don't know what it is.
Andy's got a website where he puts blogs basically on there, and one of them's about white sheeting.
Yeah, you knew what I was going to be talking about.
I've read the blog.
You read the blog.
So
yeah. You wouldn't
So he
sign up. I
does-
hadn't told you about it, had I? There's so many things I hadn't told you. I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
And it's tell her how you sign up. It's andyalbright.com, right? Yeah.
Yeah, it sounds
It's
familiar.
andyalbright.com, and you sign up for the blog. The problem is, I already wrote a lot of them, so you're not going to get notification. You must
Right.
go on there. What are you going to do? You find it for me, boss? Okay. You go on there and you sign up, but do me a favor. Read the one on white sheeting, because we do a lot. You read it, Lucy? The white sheeting, I've had people in other industries, that's other worlds, contact me and say, dude, this changed my life. Wow. Well, the WANTTO is a cheat white sheet.
Okay.
Okay? Because all the stuff's already on there. You do your own white sheets on problems that you have that I don't know about.
Right.
Does that make sense? So
Yeah.
whatever situations you have, we white sheet a lot. That's why if you ever come in my office, first thing I do is I pull that top left drawer and I pull out 15 white sheets.
Yeah.
Because we're getting ready to white sheet. We did a little bit of that yesterday,
Yeah,
didn't we?
I've got like 5 of them.
She got 5 white sheets.
Yeah. And I've got them.
and you should keep them. Yes, Robbie. Oh, this is it. So what you do is you go to this andyalbright.com, and then to get your inbox, you type in your email and subscribe to it, and then you get all that. And there is find white sheet and show me how to over here.
Right there.
Oh.
Scroll up a little bit.
The audacity of white sheeting
It's up higher, yeah.
up top. So you go over here, the audacity of white sheeting, and click on that, and then there's scratch it down. So the whole thing's described on it. Going down, see, I think it was some comments on there, and people, by the way, people say, do you read the comments? Yeah. So like Paul, your upline, her upline got engaged at one of our events in Punta Cana, and we filmed the whole thing, our media team, and whenever he talks about it, he goes, please go on and sign up and like it,
Yeah.
or put comments on it.
Yeah.
And I was like, good boy, that's good right there. That's a
Yeah.
good attribute, because that's the way I am. Like, could y'all go on there and put comments? This is something sport I've been doing since I can remember. Never thought it was a method, a tactic being successful. Don't matter. It's just a ripped piece of paper. But it's just all kinds of comments on there. I like them. Just like put them, go in there and put something on there, because it tells other people how important it is. We white sheeted her situation, didn't we?
Yeah,
We
did.
talked about her money up here, and talked about her debt, talked about her money, and we played around with it. And then I took another sheet out, and I showed her. We just walked it through, right? I'm not going to get into her business, but we worked it out. And now you're hiring people,
Right.
like crazy.
Right.
How many people you have in class? And when did this start? I mean, did you just start hiring?
I hadn't been, and then one day Paul was like, why don't you hire some people? He just said it real simple. He didn't tell me to go do it.
I want to grab Paul and grab him by that pretty little curly hair and shake him. Just grab it, just shake him.
Right.
Yeah. Hey, if you got people that are not recruiting right now in business, you might all say to them something. How do you say it?
He just said, why don't you try and hire some people? It wasn't an order. He didn't tell me to do it. It's just a simple question.
Yeah.
And I was like, why don't I do that?
She's got real good at the thing too.
Yeah, well, it helps.
Tell them about your little girl. And
So my daughter gets real dramatic and stressed out about things.
shocking.
Yeah, she's 13 and,
13.
yeah. So I started telling her the other day she was going on about something. And I said, eh. And she was like, what? I said, just do it with me real quick. Just say, eh. And she was like, eh. And I said, do you feel better now? She's like, I don't know. I said, do it again. So she goes, eh. And I was like, how do you feel? She goes, that does kind of work.
We should do a blog on.
Yeah.
We have to do a
Yeah.
video of that. Because you got to get you.
Yeah.
You got to. That's like I'm saying.
Yeah. So now when she complains a little bit, I'll go, eh. And then she'll do it and copy me. And it seems to help her. So.
Tell her what. I don't want to get into all the
Yeah.
drama,
I
but
hear
tell
ya.
her the story, the book that I recommended.
Oh, man.
And you had never heard about the book, had you?
No, never.
So tell them that story and how it affected her.
My daughter, 13, girl, hormones, just started creating a whole kind of crazy mess. And
She's been a
yeah,
kid.
yeah, she's being a kid.
And then my suggestion, right?
Yeah, so I talked to Andy about it, and he said there was a Dr. Seuss book called "Oh, the Places You Will Go," he said it was like the most gifted book at graduation time. So he autographed it, wrote a message to her, and mailed it to her. And she opened it, and it just messed her up.
It messed her up.
It really did. It did.
In a good way.
Oh, yeah. And he told her to get some, like, chicken soup for the soul for kids and teens. And at first I had to make her read it. You know, I was like, you got to read one, just one story. And next thing I know, she's like, I can't put it down. And she's just reading and reading. And, yeah, like, the difference that this company has made in my life is one thing. But all the people and what they do for her, she'll have such an advantage as an adult that a lot of us didn't get. She just will.
Ain't that one? Ain't that amen?
Yeah.
That's right. She's getting good at that amen stuff. Y'all need to get with the program. Huh?
Amen.
That's right. Come on. Now we got to come on. We got to amen. That's right. All right. Now y'all getting it. See? Oh yeah. Woo! Does not change the whole dadgum atmosphere?
It does.
So it's like I have learned so much today on this little show. But it's just, how about this too? I've told them like 7 times now, and they finally starting to come around. Isn't that cool? You know? Isn't that cool? That's what I'm talking about right there. I mean, you know, it's funny things, because one meeting I said, all right, can I get an amen? So the next time I started talking, there's a brand new people in front, and everybody at once went, amen. I was like, guys, and this is with all the new people there. I said, you need to break it up a little bit so that the new people don't think we're crazy. But you surprised you'd have to tell them that. Michael, I had to say it, and they were like, okay, we got it. We got it now. I said, okay, we'll do it. And they were like, amen, about one over here, and we kind of sprayed it around. It was like, all right. I was like, all right, new people, we're ready to get back started again. Because here's what people think. They think the meeting is for the new people, okay? The meeting, Brian Wilhelm, the meeting, you're doing the meeting Monday, I think. The meeting is for you first. You're the guy that does the meeting. Does that make sense? He's the guy. So, I'm not going to tell him, Lucy. So Brian's doing the meeting next week. I'm looking at Brian through the TV camera, so she's turning around thinking he's back there somewhere in the back of the room. I started looking for him. I was like, he's and then the funny part is when Lixie said, he's talking to the TV, because the guys... Okay, Brian. Okay, Brian. Okay, so Brian... I can do this thing. I feel the same way. All right, so Brian, he's going to do it. The number one person, Brian, that you're doing a meeting for is who? Himself. It's your practice to tell yourself how this thing works. So when you get up there, really sell yourself hard. Does that make sense? People go like, should I sell the new people hard? No, ding-dong head. Sell yourself. Because the problem is, I know every brilliant objection in the book. So when I'm arguing with myself, I'm a masterful arguer, because you can't beat myself you have to be really smart to trick me. And so when I'm talking to myself, I have to step my game up. Does that make sense? Because I know how to come back to stuff. I'll be like, yeah, that's bullcrap right there. And Lee's probably, I'll be like, hey, but old Lee's probably people never called him. That's pretty good by me. You see how I argue with myself a lot? So you're up there working on yourself. I learned this 20-some years ago, that when you're the number guy that you're doing this for. That's why I said I've learned so much in this meeting today. Because so you get up there, number 2 people you're doing it for is the people that are already in, that are already with us. You're reselling them, and you're teaching them how to operate. Like, amen, that's right, be excited. Now, see, it's funny, because when speakers say, my audience are never excited, I go, you know the part where you coaching them? You see, it's not a bragging thing. It's like when people say, I'm broke. I'm like, bro, don't brag about that. You need to keep that secret. Don't say so much about your stuff. You know what I mean? Just don't throw it out there so everybody knows. And then the last person you're talking to is the brand new people. And that's why people are disappointed when they show up meeting new people. I said, don't get excited, because the main person was there, that's you. And then the number 2 most important people is already in. You had 2 or 3 of them, or you had 7 of them, or you had 100 of them, but no new people. Who cares? This is the main people. Now, we do have a problem with you and the other people not having new people, but that's a different problem we can talk about later. Does that make sense? That's something you got to deal with yourself. You need to have that, you get talk, and then you can come back to yourself and keep talking to yourself and work that thing out. Okay? Josh, is this making any sense to you, man? All right. There's a lot of conversations going on in here, isn't it? I feel like I'm in some of y'all's heads. There's so many conversations going on. Stephen Davis told me the other day, he said, Stephen Davis, he made, what's his third or fourth year, he made $1 million. He was 25 years. It was the year he turned 25. He was telling me, he said, you need to have that talk about the debates going on in people's head. You need to do a 3-hour talk on that. It's almost like hell, y'all think I don't have those debates or those problems, situations going on in my head? I'm just winning the conversation. I mean, it's true. One side of me is winning. I can't win. It's not a tie. You with me? I'm winning the conversation for the higher percentage. I've got the good me has a higher percentage. One of the famous speakers that me and Veronica listen to, named Crow, he always said, he talked about there's two wolves inside of your head. There's one that's telling you to get up and do the right thing, and then there's one that's telling you to do the wrong thing. And the question was, which one is going to win? And he said, the one you feed. And the feed would be, believe it or not, what you say feeds one of the wolves. Books you read feeds one of the wolves. Television shows we watch feeds one of the wolves. Because if you're watching, this Sunday was the 35th anniversary of Miracle on Ice. And that's when the American hockey team beat the Russian hockey team when it was the curtain, and it was crazy. And they were playing that. My sons watched that probably 20 times. That's feeding the good wolf. You with me? So there are good stuff in good movies, and then there's feeding the negative wolf. And which one of them gets nourished and gets bigger is going to win, and you're in charge of feeding. It's your decision. Me and Bradley had a nice, fun conversation about which one we feed, didn't we? And that was just, he was feeding the wrong one for a minute or two, and I was like, bro, we're gonna have to stop this. That wasn't as nice about it, but I was clear because I was trying to help him. Very seldom people get mad when you're trying to help. It happens. People get mad, or I say it wrong. That happens too. Okay, so how many people have you hired? Who have you got? How many people you got in class?
I've got 5 in class.
5 in class. Any of them out of class yet?
I have additional that are out of class with licenses.
Okay, so you've got some more that are out of class with license. And you've got 5 new ones in class right now.
Right.
Okay, now I'm going to tell you this. As a gardener, as a person who plants seeds, you need to learn how to grow plants. You need to learn how to till the soil. You need to learn when to hire. All kinds of things you need to learn. So what you're going to do also is you need to start learning. I told you this, right?
Yeah.
We already talked about it. That's one of the things we white sheeted.
Yep.
Ain't it funny that the same thing I'm saying is the same thing we talked about, even though I'm not thinking about that. I'm talking to these people, but the exact thing, because I'm a repetitive person. I'm like I think James Hill knows it by now. I'm like a dadgum tape recorder. I just turn on the tape recorder about getting people started, hiring people. And that part's where they tell people that they got to start thinking about actually, you know what I mean? It's just like very, very simple. It's like somebody was saying that repetition is so good. And I think about the people that I know that they do everything, their activity book is so the same thing. And I build a business the same. So when you start talking to these people, you need to start thinking, what do I need to do better? And you need to ask questions like, how do I help a person get started? How do I keep a person going? What do I need to do? And one of the things you do is start people. Let me say this. If you plant something in gravel or in something, if you put a seed in the ground, okay, it's best to put it in a gooder place. In other words, if you put the seed under a rock, for example, and the rock is on top of it and it comes out and grows up, it could be successful, but it won't be as successful if you put it in a real good spot. So what I'm saying by that is I try to start people good. Because if you start them wrong, it's hard to bend them back. It gets harder and harder. And the way you start them good is I really, really, really scream this. Who invited you out, Josh? Jay Clay. So Jay Clay and Adam Katz, they're going to try to get you to follow the basics. And in the beginning, it may sound like they're, I don't say dictatorial or demanding, but what they're saying is we want to plant you in a good spot so you can explode up, and be a massive plant. It's like with our kids. We're really demanding that they do the simple things. I don't expect my kids to be a brain surgeon. I wouldn't be upset, but I'm not demanding that. But I do demand close the door when they come in. Like I do. Like I can't just leave the door swinging open. I learned that when I was a kid. I remember, don't leave that door open like it's in a barn or something like that. And I don't think it works. I don't think it works now because kids don't know what a barn is. They're like, barn? A barn? Are you saying barn? Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, it's like, are you raised in a barn? Or I want to say, who raised you? Who taught you? And as a parent, we don't want to be embarrassed by our children. So what you want to do is you don't want to be embarrassed by these people. So what you do is you encourage them all these things. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So you know these are things that will help them grow massive. And how do you, the things that are in here, you sell them real hard. And people say, sell them on this stuff? Yeah. I sell my children, like on books. Like here's I bribe. Jane says I bribe them. Well, I paid them. I don't know what to tell you. I gave them money. Did you do that with your little boy?
Yep, sure have. Money. No, actually, we've done iTunes cards.
You did iTunes cards.
Yeah.
So whether it's a ring, whether it's a sticker, whether it's iTunes cards, or whether it's money, you figure out what motivates them, and then I call it trick them into doing the right thing. So what I do with this is I sell them on how good it works, which is a trick. Okay? You say, well, is it not the truth? Oh, it's the truth. Well, then why are you calling it a trick? Because I got to get them to do it. However I got to get them to do it it's probably trickery is a bad word, but it's just, it rhymes. You know what I mean? It just sounds good. You know, I trick them into doing the right thing. I'm trying to get them to do the right thing. So that's the first thing. See, what you got to do is you become iTunes to get them to read a book.
Okay.
Is that kind of tricky?
But it works.
Right. And it wasn't mean.
Right.
It's not with bad intent. She's not, some people, negative people would say she manipulated her kid. I'll be like, what?
He's happy with it.
He's happy with it. Right. So some people say she inspired her child to read books. See, you pick the words. I say you inspired them. You did right by your son. So do right by these people, but do it in a tricky way.
Right. I learned something from working with you guys and James. There was a guy on Paul's team that was young, doing really well, recruiting, still is. And so I talked to one of my young guys. I was like, yeah, so-and-so, he's up there doing this and this and this. I know you can do it too. And it was better than saying, he's doing it, why aren't you?
Not he's doing better than you is I know you and you can do it too. I've seen you. People want to be seen. I've seen you. I've looked in your eyes. I've talked to you enough to know your heart. You can do it too. That's a different way of putting it, ain't it? Mm-hmm. Veronica, well, first of all, introduce yourself. Tell them you've done this before on one of our shows, though, hadn't you?
Yeah,
Let's
I did a couple weeks ago.
Do it again. Do it again.
I'm Veronica Hedges. Andy hired me into the business, and I'm just so excited I can't believe it. And I just appreciate Andy so much for what he's put together and what he has shared with us, because it's going to make just a tremendous difference in our lives and the lives of other people that we bring on board. So we're really fired up about that. My husband, Jeff, we've been married for 30 years. I know y'all don't think I'm that old, but I really am. But we've been married 30 years, and when we first got started, he was not going to jump in the business. But that didn't take long, so he jumped in. So I'm excited about that. And we do have been married 30 years, have a 14-year-old son. So that's kind of crazy, too. But, yeah, I am kind of bribing him a little bit. He read the noticer. That was the first one he read.
Really?
And he loved it. He loved it.
That's Andy Andrews.
Yes. And
So were you with you? He'd read that before us. So you?
we just started this like a couple of weeks ago. So yeah, yeah.
That that messed my heart up right there.
Well, that's it. That's
I mean,
the
you
way
know what I mean?
it is.
Because that's in a good way. You with me? I want you to make millions of dollars and travel us all over the world, but I want your son to have a better shot than we had.
That's it. That's it. And that is so exciting. Absolutely so exciting and life-changing for him, I know. I was with another insurance company for about 10 years and ran with that. Lucy Baker hired me into that.
Talk to you about getting your kids to read books and stuff? Did they do that?
Well,
You just ignored it?
I'll tell you, we really didn't talk enough about books. We talked about books, but we didn't talk about books. You know, I mean, it was like, oh yeah, we need let's read Eat That Frog, and but
you know what we call that? We call it transactional.
That's,
You know what I mean?
that's
Get
right.
the dollar bill and move on and separate your life. And that way, it allows bad. We know because we've been there. It lets bad stuff happen.
Yeah, that's
is what
true.
happens.
It's true.
It lets bad people get bigger too. We prefer the bad people go away, and we prefer the nice, fun people to grow more. It squeezes them out by doing all this stuff.
Yeah.
It really does.
Yeah, I can see it.
You've heard that story
Can
before
see
in
it.
other businesses too.
Yeah, yeah.
And-
Andy hadn't told anybody this, I don't think, but the way I came on board, I don't think you've told anybody this, but even though I had been with this other company, loved the other company, but I kind of hit a wall with them. I had always been running and building that business, and I loved it. That was a good part of it. But I had gotten to a point where that was not going to be so going forward. And so I started looking around. Every once in a while, I look at Career Builder, and I found this job, and it was at MetLife. And I was like, God, do I really want a job? I hadn't had a job in a really long time. You know, I mean, the other was a job, but not a job. And so, you know, I thought, well, they're not going to read my resume unless somebody like shoots it to them because they have stacks and stacks of them. So I thought, who do I know in the insurance business? Andy. So I got with Andy. I'm like, Andy, you know anybody out there at MetLife? He was like, heck yeah, we get you in, we can. But first you got to see what we're doing.
Very tricky.
Anyway, it was very tricky, but I'm very grateful. I'm very grateful. I really appreciate you.
Yeah, so I don't need to send your resume now?
You weren't going to send it anyway.
Yeah, I would have.
No, he would have.
I would have kept my word. I'm not. If you sent it to me, I might have forwarded it to John, my buddy. I said my buddy knows the CEO, CFO, president, and so he's one of my best friends. And I said I know he can get it on the desk, and so I can't even remember. But he might not have done it because I didn't push hard. You know what I mean? You know how people are, that it wasn't somebody he knew, it was somebody I knew. But I really didn't want him to do it. I might have told him, don't do it. I said, I'm going to send it to you, but don't do it. Give it to nobody. I might have said, give me a few months to work on it before.
Yeah.
I don't want to hire her too quick.
Yeah, I think by the time I sent it to you, I had already made up my mind to come on board with you. That's really kind of how it worked out.
There's three things, Veronica. We talk about gratitude and relationships and opportunity. These three things, we talked about a lot. Can you see like that in you and Jeff? Those that you see the opportunity, you love the relationships, and you're appreciative.
Very.
Those are the type people we're looking for. And the people that have that tighter circle, that all of those three things are involved. We don't care about age. We don't care about color. We don't care about ancestry, education. That's the main thing. And people say, what's the number one thing you talk about when you talk integrity? I need people that are honest, that I can trust them, and they're not evil people. That's just a problem. When people start lying, it just starts creating all kinds of problems. We'll say no to that. But then after that, what we're looking for is to keep growing the relationships, growing the opportunity, and growing the gratitude. And so we worked on that a lot in Cabo. I want to keep talking about those three things and tell you the things that we pulled out of it, that Diane Lampy pulled out of it, and Tamara Roberts pulled out of it, and Holly Davies pulled out of it. It's some powerful stuff to keep building our organization. Before we get off here, I want everybody to meet Mike Alleman, if y'all hadn't met him. Mike, would you introduce yourself and kind of tell us a little bit about y'all's business and history too?
Sure. My name's Mike Alleman. My wife Michelle's back at home watching, And
I
we're out
look
of
for too.
we're out of Houston, Texas, part of the FITS organization, and you know, we've been with the Alliance since 2007, and so we're coming up like right on 8 years. And when I think about that, the opportunity that was there for us, and the relationships that we've got, it starts to mess me up, because I think we were talking about gratitude, and you know, that one phrase that, you know, what if you only woke up tomorrow with what you were grateful for today?
Oh yeah, tell them that.
Yeah.
So, get into their head about that. Tell them that. Hey, would you pull up the pictures from Cabo, the AmPics?
So I heard it a couple of times, and then Andy and I were sitting there talking, and so think about this. Imagine if you just woke up tomorrow, right, and the only thing you had was what you were grateful for today. Would you be more grateful today for some things that maybe you're not? And you think about that. You stop and think about that, how messed up you can be. Because our family, it changed tremendously from, you know, 07 when Michelle found it, and I wasn't that excited at first either.
Right.
But then she made $8,000, and it was crazy. 2010 when I
Did you
left.
tell them what you were doing, job-wise?
I was running the IT director over at University of Houston, running the data center there. I've been doing that for 21 years in various organizations. In 2010, I retired from that.
Now, were you planning on retiring, or did this business influence that?
Oh, this business influenced it. And you were talking about the financial independence engine this morning,
Right.
or earlier on the call.
Uh-huh.
And we did that. We did that for almost a year, playing with where the money was, to the point where we go, all right. It's like we wanted to have what we wanted to have, but we knew that we had to do it smartly and not be in a worse place to go up. You know, and I'd send it to you, I'd send it to Fitz, and I go, what do y'all think? What do y'all think? You know, and I mean, so that changed our world. And, you know, my youngest now, he'll be 20 within about 2 weeks, March 10th. So, Christopher. And we think about, you know, what the things that our kids have done with us. They've been to Atlantis with us. They were on the Oasis. My gosh, they've all got passports and they've been somewhere. It's priceless, you know. And I think about where we're going to be in Banff. I didn't even know there was a drive Banff competition. Now I'm fired up. I was already shooting for Soar Banff, but I'm like, whoo, we got some good things going on. But yeah, just think about that. Again, guys, just think about how grateful you are for everything. I'm grateful for Michelle. I'm grateful for what she does out there every day. I'm grateful for the staff that helps us do what we do. I'm definitely grateful for you and Jane for all the things that you've done, because you're as a family, you know, and you and I both know, being married with kids, it's always smooth, and, and you know, there's always challenges, you know, and yet we fight together in the relationships and friends, you know. I mean, look at those people.
Yeah.
Just look at that and picture yourself there.
Oh God.
Just picture yourself, guys.
Hey, is there any from that dinner we had, the exclusive dinner we had? We went out. I don't even know if we had any of those up. We went. So it was 34, 35 couples, 9 to 12:30, and then we're free to do it. And then one day we didn't have anything scheduled, and oh, good gosh, look at this place. So Katie, who does our event planning, she said, I want to take y'all to dinner place. Chris took me, was it for y'all's anniversary or her birthday? Her birthday, when they were, you know, for the team, giving it up for the team. She always says she tastes the food so we won't die. Well, she had tasted the food at this restaurant. Look at the location. So there's the famous arch in Cabo, and that we stayed, so we're down here. We stayed here on the beach of the resort, and then 14 couples went up on this mountain. It might not look very high. It was huge. It was Jason Giambi, if you follow baseball. It was his house, 18,000 square foot, 2 infinity pools. Show some of those shots at that pool. 2 infinity pools, pool table. But this restaurant is ridiculous. Our views from the house, look at these views. And that's where, look, check this out. Did you see that? Look at this. Is that crazy talk? So we hung out there for 5 more days, and we went to that dinner at the restaurant. Oh, Tim Goad's birthday was so now Katie has been taken to that restaurant for her birthday, and Tim Goad has been taken to that restaurant for his birthday. Is that crazy talk? And the beautiful pictures that we forever have and we forever flip back through, it's memories, it's relationships, and it's time and freedom to go, guys. You matter. We need for you to jump in, you to take ownership, and you go after your dream. You matter to the Alliance. We love you. Thank y'all for plugging in today. I know we went over time. Appreciate you hanging on. Bye. Love you.